Okay.
Okay, wait, let me take this off. Let me take my shirt off.
Let me take my underwear off. Oh, it's already off.
Let me never put it on. Oh no. Greg, I thought this was a duet. Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds. Can you hear me? Bonk. Welcome to Miss Thing.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim. And this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the Miss Things of the past, present, and future. And Greg is taking a sip of Coke Zero for, I think, the first time in his entire life.
Yeah, I've never drank it before on the pod. It's sort of going to make my teeth as black as night. Yeah, and I was very uncomfortably taking a sip, but, famously I get very worried that if I don't, it'll equal like bad luck or something. And you're supposed to sip after a cheers.
Your teeth will, every time I have Coke Zero, as much as it tastes like the best thing I've ever had, you do feel like you can feel your teeth actually decaying in real time.
Yeah, sort of falling out as you sip. And of course, I am afflicted by this horrible disease where I have to swish it through my entire mouth whenever I put it in my mouth. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like any sort of soda, any sort of like semi-frozen drink, I have to swish through my teeth. Even when I have a straw.
Do you get like brain freezes?
No, I don't.
Ugh.
I think the teeth sort of, they catch it all. The enamel, what enamel I have left, sort of catches everything before it hits the brain.
Yeah. Why don't you go into...
We never even finished our introduction in this famous way.
Okay, you finish. But this is organic.
I love it. I love it. It's, so every week on the pod, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we're most skilled at, which is make it all about us. We're already talking about us. We sort of can't stop.
We couldn't even finish it because we needed to talk about our teeth.
Yeah. You're in rare form today.
I really am.
Want to talk about that?
I'm just feeling, I don't know, all over the place.
Sure.
And I have so many things to say. It's funny because last week we had like 2 weeks off and I thought I would have a million stories and I had 0. And this week we only had a couple days off and I'm already like, do we have enough time to talk about everything that's happened?
Of course. Yeah, you were giving me a million reasons in this way. Keep that in your mind, put that in your pipe, and wait to smoke it.
And I can barely keep my poker face on.
Anyway, should we get into our Dade Mom sauce? Should we just dive right in?
Let's go.
Yeah, Dade Mom sauce is, of course, doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second, which is our famous segment where we talk about the thing that we are currently obsessed with right now.
And I want you to go first because, listeners, I got a text from Greg pre-pod that basically said, like, batten down the hatches. I don't think you're ready for my Dade Mom sauce. And so I can't wait any longer.
Sure, okay. Well, I was not prepared to go first, but I am willing to sort of put myself on the line in so many ways today. I don't think you're ready for my Dade Mom sauce.
I am nervous.
You're nervous.
Yeah.
Well, you did glance at my notes, and I'm a little concerned you may have seen a little hint,
I
a little
think I saw a
preview.
different section of your notes. Yeah.
Okay, well, my Dade Mom sauce this week, I hope you're sitting down in a way.
Thank God I am. Yeah.
It is kind of weird to say that to someone who is sitting in front of my face.
Yeah.
My Dade Mom sauce this week, I'm just going to say it, is Camila Cabello. Bet you never thought you'd hear me say that, bitch.
No, I believe I said this in June, all the way back in June, that I predicted that you would be into her because she's kind of like Charlie Light.
Yeah, Charlie Light. So I have been introduced.
She's like Charlie Zero, like Coke Zero.
Charlie Negative.
Charlie Zero Sugar.
Charlie Minus. I've been introduced via the famous app TikTok to a song, a little ditty called Dade County Dreaming. So Camila has a song that I've since learned is a collaboration with City Girls, who I don't know much about, but apparently this is their last song.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, I don't know the details, City Girls' last song is on Camila Cabello's...
Is on CXOXO.
Is on CXOXO.
Album of the summer.
Don't know the physics of that. Or the genesis. But Camila Cabello has this incredible song called Dade County Dreaming. It is filthy, the dirtiest song I've ever heard. And there is a dance on TikTok that you and I are going to have to learn and put on our TikTok. Something we say nearly every week and never do. But this one we really need to follow through on. There's a lyric in this song that goes, "This pussy get ate 'cause my wrist game. Had to slap a broke bitch on Biscayne."
Wait, so is that saying it gets ate because she's masturbating? Wrist game? Like her own... She's like eating her own pussy with her hands?
Oh, interesting. See, I interpreted that as the hand jobs that she's giving to the other person.
That probably makes more sense.
It's like more like a reciprocal type thing.
She gives hand jobs and then they eat her out.
Okay, well, I still haven't figured it out, but you should see the dance move associated with that lyric.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like a...
Okay.
Oh, my arm's sort of snapping. You
Greg
heard
just broke
that.
it out.
But she goes like this. It's sort of like a flap, flap, flap into pussy.
Oh, right.
Into flap, 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 flap into pussy.
I really...
Very Triple H.
I never really want to hear you say that word ever again.
It's very Sarah Silverman. Pussy.
Yeah, there's something very like...
inorganic.
Yes.
When it comes from my mouth.
Well, just, it's one of those things where it's like I immediately kind of sit even farther back in my seat, distancing myself.
Anyways, do you have a Dad Mom sauce?
I do.
Okay.
My Dad Mom sauce is, well, to back up, as you already know this, I'm a martyr. I'm a saint. I have been, over the past week, and still in the process of doing this, I've agreed to help 3 different people move.
Oh my God. I've already not heard the end of this.
Well, get ready, because I'm going to talk about it more.
Which is so interesting, because I am also in the process of moving, and it's not so much, there's this sort of fly bug-esque thing flying into my screen, flying into my frame. No, I just also want to point out that I am moving. So let's preface this story with
but you're sort of constantly in a state of movement.
Sure.
A
body in motion.
Yeah, stays in motion.
Thank you.
And whereas my body is always inert.
Yeah.
And so the fact that 3 people in my life have not decided to hire movers, but just like kind of asked me to do it, which is not surprising because I have the body of a mover.
Of course,
just like super agile.
The Rock found quaking.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways.
By the way, sorry, just a quick side note. Inertia, beautiful name for a baby girl.
Oh, I agree. And for a second, I thought you were going to say that I used it wrong, and I got so nervous. And I was like, oh, is that not the right? But it is. Right?
No.
Yes, okay.
I was so glad to hear it. So glad to hear it.
It is a great... That also should be like another name for our fans. The Inertias. Hi,
The Inertia.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I remembered this. We have a big thing. This is a tangent, but you are going to be so glad I brought it up. You already know what I'm going to bring up.
I don't, actually.
We didn't talk about this last week, and I'm so pissed that we didn't do it. But in between...
The loudest motorcycles
so many things are happening.
Flying through this house.
There's a lawnmower. Is during the break... well, the listeners didn't know that we had a break, but Greg and I took a break, as we have discussed. The biggest thing that has ever happened in our entire lives happened, which is that Cynthia Erivo followed us on our Instagram.
Oh my God. Elphaba herself, Cynthia Erivo.
Literally a Grammy winner, Tony winner, nominated for 2 Oscars. She's probably going to be nominated for Wicked, if I have anything to say about it.
3/4 EGOT. Wait, has she won an Emmy?
I think she actually has one. She's been nominated. If she might, I think she actually has.
Yeah, yeah. We are like this close to EGOT, right on the verge of
And
Wicked
she
coming out.
follows our Instagram.
Follows
and
our
we
Instagram.
DM'd her, and she responded, and she's literally our #1 fan.
She's our #1 fan. Jennifer Z's.
So
She's
take a
one
back
of you.
seat. Yeah.
Jennifer's and Cynthia.
Literally, Cynthia, hi. We know you're listening.
Hey, Cynthia.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Hope you're so excited for Wicked. We really
can't
are.
wait. Yeah. Nothing bigger has ever happened in our entire life than Cynthia Erivo following our Instagram and saying nice things via DM. We are obsessed with you. We can't get enough. I literally have told every single person my entire life.
Yeah, we love you so much. We have truly been, we saw Color Purple, like we've been day ones, like so excited for your continued success. I know you're so excited for our continued success here on Miss Thing Podcast, and the Jennifers are so glad to have you.
And also the, and I know it's just
and the Inertias.
And the Inertias, thank you. And it's also one of those things where I'm like, I know this sounds like I'm only saying it after the fact, but I have said this. You know that I've said this. I send you Cynthia videos all the time.
Constantly.
Too much.
Yeah. And it's like I've seen them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You're just sort of sending me things I've seen.
Anyways, hi, Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
We'll talk soon.
Hey, girl.
But my dad mom saw us.
Right.
Okay. So, as I said, I'm like helping people move. I'm last Thursday I was helping Claude move. We already had been like, it's a hot day. I've already been helping him move for 4 hours.
Right. It was like 100 plus.
It was
that day.
so
it was
hot.
Insane. Oh my god.
And had already been moving heavy boxes for 4 hours. And then he's like, okay, great. Now on to part 2, which is public storage. So we get to public storage. And he gives me the heads up that there's like the sweet older man runs the public storage, and he's kind of a character. And I'm like, okay, like I'm sure he's actually sweet. Like, you know, calm down. Like it's a sweet older man.
Yeah.
So then
I'm the main character here.
Exactly. And I'm also like, okay, sweet older man. He sounds lovely, Claude.
Sure.
And so then we get there. He greets us. We go to the storage unit, and he's just like, by the way, don't forget, like, when you guys are done, you are going to need to sweep this storage. And we're like, oh, of course. He leaves. We open the storage unit, and it is, you're questioning your...
Sweep the storage?
Storage unit. The unit, sorry.
Oh, okay.
And so...
They don't provide that service on site?
You would think. And
yeah.
So... and then I like looked at Claude. I'm like, he seems so sweet, you know, like
sure.
What's
but
going
he
on
is
here?
Old, so ultimately he might need some help.
Yeah, exactly. And so then he leaves. We open up the unit, and it's like, oh my god, this is packed to the rafters. This is gonna take like 2 hours, even if we're going as fast as possible. I'm exhausted and so hot. 10 minutes goes by. The man comes and he goes, oh, still working, huh? He's like, oh, okay. Well, you know, just don't forget to. And it's like clear he's saying sweep. And we're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, we will. Then 5 minutes goes by. He comes right back and he's just like, I brought you the broom. Just wanted to make sure, you know, that like afterwards, you know, you guys sweep. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, thank you.
So he's providing materials at this point.
Yeah,
to just
and also
ensure.
It's like 15 minutes has gone by. It's like we haven't even cracked a dent in this so far.
Right.
He comes back another...
It's incredible. The noises.
The noises off pod, you guys. Is great. What we're having to deal with.
Yeah. Miss Thing Stomp edition.
Yeah, truly. Truly like a full 4th of July fireworks show is happening off pod. So then... not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes later, he comes back and he's like, I noticed that the broom is actually out of your guys' eyesight because we placed it away from the storage unit. So he's like, I'm just going to move it a little just so you guys don't forget. And at this point, I'm like, if this man comes back one more time, I'm going to lose it.
Right.
Proceed to, I kid you not, for those 2 hours, every minute on the minute, back and forth, he'd come in and he'd go, oh, Claude, is that French? Leave. Oh, Claude, what part of France are you from? Even though Claude's already said he's not from France. And at this point, I'm just like ignoring him or giving him like one. He's like, oh, you seem very athletic. I'm like, thank you. Leaves, comes back. And I was like, I cannot handle this man.
What on earth? Was he hitting on you?
No, he was literally just like, I don't know, like it was just bored, I think.
He needed a friend, could tell you had you
and
had
every
some
time, by the way,
jokes.
he would come back, I'm holding the heaviest box you've ever held in your entire life.
Yeah, and he's watching you on camera, making sure he comes at that exact moment.
Oh, and I'm sweating, and he's blocking where I need to put the box down to just be like, oh, God, is that a guitar? Which is clearly a cello. Like, nothing has ever looked less like a guitar in your life. And so then finally he leaves at one point, and I'm like, Claude, I know I've already said this, but if he comes back, I, like, don't know what I'm going to do. I can't be held responsible for my actions.
Oh, nor
should I.
Nor you wouldn't be held liable in a court of law.
We were finally...
Not a jury in the world could convict you.
Yes, exactly. And so then we're finally like loading like one of the last boxes into the U-Haul. He comes and he goes, "Oh, big step up there, huh?" And I don't know, there was something about that, huh, that I was literally like, God, I'm going to get some water in the front of the car. I will be back later. Like, I was so, like, I wasn't looking at him. I was so, like, I cannot with this man. And then I'm like doing full meditation exercises in the front of the car, calming down.
Monster truck rally outside.
Truly. Never before, listeners, has there been a noisier background. The leaf blower's going.
Charlie, we're on Charlie Minus today.
Yes.
We're serving Charlie Minus. Title of it.
Oh, Charlie Minus. Yes. CXOXO.
Doing meditation.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm doing meditation trying to calm down because I really don't want to explode on this man. And I'm like, if he comes back one more time, I'm so nervous. Then he knocks on the door with the broom as I'm sipping my water. And so I'm about to give it to him. Mm-hmm. And so I roll down my window. As I'm rolling down my window, I'm like, we have not. And then he goes, you don't have to actually sweep. It looks great. You guys are such sweet souls. Have a good day. And I, in that moment, I was at least happy that I didn't finish my sentence. As he's calling me a sweet soul, I just silently nod and press the up button onto the window and watch it go up like a true monster villain. Like, I'm like nodding and smiling and just like having it go up. And I'm just like, I can't.
You have to protect your peace.
Thank you.
In these moments.
Not my favorite, not my best moment. And I look back now, and the reason why I've made him my dad mom's house is I would like to formally apologize because I'm like, you were probably lonely. You just wanted to pass the time. Yeah. You didn't realize what you were doing to me.
And you owe him that apology. But
yes,
he also...
And I know you listen. You listen along with Cynthia. And of course now that I've finished my story, it's never been more silent.
Hear a pin drop.
Yeah. My co-host is stunned to silence. Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Ooh.
More to come.
Okay.
After the break. We're back. We're back. And it is time, of course, for our Miss Thing.
This Miss Thing is one of our like top tippity top things.
Yeah, as high to the sky as it could go. And we've waited. Mm-hmm. We probably there were times that we've wanted to bring her to Mike, to your screens, so many times before. But
one of the first things I feel like we bonded over too, like as far as like pop culture references, we both loved this woman.
Of course,
we've seen her together. Multiple times.
Actually, I want to say I've only ever seen her every time with you.
I've seen her 5 times. So
okay, so you can't extend that same courtesy back to me, and that's fine.
Well, I think I saw her like a couple times before I even knew you.
I know. Well, that's that's famously cheating.
Imagine. Yeah, cheating.
And it hurts my feelings.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Our Miss Thing is Lady Gaga.
I mean, we say it every week, but this is huge.
I mean, she is like core to my foundation. It is like the pop star that we came of age to. You're like, I know
you might have come of age to her. She was, of course, most famously my college classmate.
Yeah.
She was my
You
year.
you started that Facebook group, Stephanie Germanata, You Will Never Be Famous.
We are not going to start that rumor here. Well, we're not going to admit to it.
Yeah.
We're not going to admit to it. Yeah, I mean, my contemporary, huge pop star, actress, activist.
So many things. The Fame Monster, that album, is one of my like top 5 favorite albums of all time. I love it so fucking much.
Followed by The Fame, followed by Art Pop, followed by Chromatica, and Joanne may be last.
Yes, and there's also the Star Is Born soundtrack.
There's Star Is
Born. There's the Tony Bennett of it all.
There's the Top Gun song.
There's To Die With a Smile. What is the latest one?
There is that. You are right.
There's a lot, and there is what she is about to become even bigger. Joker, Folie à Deux,
which you famously one time called Dole à Fou.
Which should be called, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been more. We've actually we have referenced this a couple times on the pod. We've never been more excited for a movie. I think since starting the pod, this is the movie we've both been the most excited to see.
A movie that you are so excited to see, having not even seen a frame of the first one.
I don't think I really need to. The only reason I would be seeing it is because of Gaga, and so.
Sure. Well, it's you will have watched it by the time the movie comes out.
I'll watch it like the day before. Yeah.
For such an A-list star like Gaga, this is like a genuinely thrilling next step in her acting career. Famously a musical. They're sort of going around saying it's not like a typical musical. They just start singing when the dialogue is not enough. And that's sort of actually the definition of a musical, which I think is so groundbreaking.
And the thing that we have, I mean, when this episode, even though we're filming this the same day that it comes out.
The day after even. That's how on top of things we are.
I cannot wait for the press tour.
Well, there's nothing greater than Gaga on a press tour and her sound bites. I mean, famously, one of my favorite images of Lady Gaga, who, I mean, famous fashion icon. I mean, the meat dress.
Yeah, all of the Alexander McQueen stuff.
Everything. I mean, the woman has looks on looks on looks. And one of my favorite images of Lady Gaga is her at a film festival sitting next to Bradley Cooper with her name tag in front of her that reads L. Gaga.
Yeah. The reason why it's like no surprise to anyone, but it's like she elevates whatever movie she's in, even if her performance is she's in one movie and everyone else is in another movie. You want to be watching the movie that she's in. Exactly.
And she is she's just a thunderous presence. She's a massively huge superstar. It's like the world revolves around her. There's very few stars like her.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just absolutely adore her in every way, shape, and form. What else is there to say? I mean,
just like ultimate performer. Like truly just like she is like, you just know 100 years from now that like she is going to be one of those people who like, you know, it's going to be like Judy Garland. You know what I mean? Where it's just like she is tippity top, like handprints at Chinese Grauman Theater.
Right.
You know?
Right. Does she have
but she should. Yet? I don't know. But she should.
She's probably too busy. The girl is working.
She's not just a star, like, you know, a mile down. Like, she gets one Hollywood star or whatever. It's like she is actually, like, in the theater right close to the entrance.
Oh, my God. Yeah, she's on her hands. First one's on the Hollywood sign.
Yes.
That's why she's
That's
waiting.
My Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gaga is to compare her to anyone, I mean, people have always sort of compared her to Madonna. Yeah. She's this generation's Madonna. She evolves. What?
Well, that's not for the pod. We could cut this. But when we were talking about Diva Downs, I almost wanted to say that I think that Diva Down this week should be Madonna after Patti LuPone eviscerated her on Hot Ones.
Let's do it.
Okay. You don't have to. But did you see Patti LuPone talk about Madonna?
Yes.
How she's eating like fully to the bone that hot wing.
Yeah, I mean, an icon in so many ways. Where were we?
Okay, Gaga. We should probably just
Get into it.
Get into it.
So Gaga is, I mean, she's one of the most evolved and constantly evolving celebrities and figures we have. We're so lucky to have her.
One of the biggest queens of music videos.
Oh my God, the music videos, Monster Truck Rally, of course, and that's Gaga.
Yeah,
riding on that because she can do it all.
There's so many motorcycles for some reason going by. That's what he's saying. She does. Unfortunately, Gaga doesn't have a song called Monster Truck Rally. She will. Maybe that's the first single of LG7.
I think that's the vibe of LG7 with the black hair and everything. I think we might be going there. And of course, a famous Born This Way album where she's sort of a bicycle with a head.
Wait, that actually should be the title of that, Monster Truck Rally. I think you might have already said that, but I agree.
I might have said that.
Who knows? I can't remember what we said 2 minutes ago.
Anyways, well, you know, we're over here talking about Lady Gaga and all of her incredible accomplishments. It's like, Tim, how do you make Lady Gaga's illustrious career all about yourself?
Okay, well, I do want to just, before I even get into it, say that she is also someone we are going to be doing multiple parts on because I've seen her 5 times. I have so many stories. She's the easiest person of all time to make about myself because of all of the stories that I have. Like, I've grown up with her, and I've even met her once, which is a teaser for another episode.
Yeah, not even this one.
It's probably like the best. If I wrote a memoir, my best chapter would be the day that I met Lady Gaga. But I'm not gonna. That's a teaser.
Sort of the only interesting.
It's really the only interesting thing
that's
ever happened to me, other than Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey, Cyn. So excited for Wicked. I honestly can't wait.
Literally front row. Well, not front row. Like, you know, mid,
third
center,
or fourth
mid. Yeah.
at the earliest.
Yeah.
But I would love a ticket to the world premiere.
Oh.
Yeah. If you want to invite us, we're available. Anyways.
So How I Make Gaga All About Me is, I think of her Super Bowl performance as one of the best performances, and I think of her iconic entrance where she is kind of like gliding. She jumps off the top of the stadium on those ropes, and she's supposedly, you know, like skydiving in, even though we know there was some trickery involved.
Sure, a jumping off point for so many of our stories, to be honest.
Truly.
Yeah.
And that makes me think of this past weekend where I went rock climbing with Anthony and some of his rock climbing buddies.
Oh boy.
And so he's a big rock climber, so all of his friends are too, and so I'm like the +1 to this like Malibu Creek State Park climbing thing that we're doing outdoors. And I've only ever done like real rock climbing like kind of on vacation with like a professional rock climber who makes you feel very safe and secure.
And not to mention, you're in Gaga's home turf, Malibu.
Oh my God.
You were doing this just mere inches away from Gaga's home.
I really tried to sing Miley Cyrus's Malibu, and I can't remember a single Malibu.
I thought you were going to sing The Climb. I think we're a little off.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's honestly okay. We'll catch each other.
By the last minute, we will catch each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in Malibu. We're outdoors. I'm getting ready to do the first climb. Anthony is already...
See what I mean?
The climb. Oh.
You actually weren't even putting two and two together.
I was not putting them together. That's where my brain is today.
Okay, so you were about to do the climb.
I was about to do the climb. And Anthony's friend is the, I forget what it's called. It's like the belayer. The belayer is the guy on the bottom who's like controlling the rope. The belayer.
Okay.
Who is the person who's like controlling the rope, making sure that you don't fall. They have your whole entire life in their hands.
Oh, okay.
And so
You're what I consider the belaborer of points.
Thank you. I take that with a point of pride.
Good. Okay. So he has your life, and someone else has your life in their hands.
And so I'm saying to him, like, hey, by the way, I'm really nervous. Like, I've never done this without, like, a professional. And he's like, I'm I've been doing this like forever. I got you. We're going to over communicate. And I was like, great. I love over communication.
You do.
You know what I love even more? Compliments and a lot of tips. If I'm up there, compliment me. Tell me where to put my hand. Tell me where to put my foot. Tell me I'm doing great.
One step too far.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I got you. Immediately I go up 10 feet. I'm 10 feet. And then this man is like turning to the other belayer who's helping Anthony and is like, I don't really love Taste by Sabrina Carpenter. And I'm like, hey, back to me. This is a little loose. I need this to be tight.
We're keeping it positive here.
Yeah.
Love that song.
And then I look down and I'm like, hey, like, are we good? And he just winks at me. And there is nothing less reassuring than a wink.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So I'm like...
When you're dangling in the air.
I'm dangling in the air and you wink at me. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, use your words.
Right.
Which, of course, is what I say.
Yeah, and also put Taste on, please, because I'd like to listen to it right now.
It would calm me in this moment. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, you're going to be fine. So I keep climbing. I go, like, above this tree, that like because there's a tree kind of, like, blocking the vision. I'm above it. And then I start to hear him be like, okay, you're in the tree line, so I can't really see you. And he sounds kind of nervous. So then I'm starting to freak out. And I'm like, yo, am I good? And he's like, you're good. Trust me, I would not lie to you. Just, like, kind of get more in my eye line, like, move towards my eye line, and you'll be fine. So I do it. I'm, like, very nervous. But I'm like, you swear you wouldn't lie to me? And he's like, I would never lie. Like, rock climbing is all about, like, I have you. You know? And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So I'm like petrified.
I feel like I'm dangling off a ledge over here listening.
Yes. I complete the climb. I come back down, but then I'm like, listen, sir, I love you, but the next time Anthony's belaying me because I didn't feel as reassured. I didn't feel over communicated to.
Yeah, I trust my boyfriend to belay me.
Exactly.
And maybe not. I shouldn't go outside the relationship for this.
I know. I couldn't even believe. What was I thinking?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's such a rock climber joke that will kill for our rock climbing audience.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know. And Cynthia. She's very athletic.
You could tell that she's a rock climber.
Of course.
Cynthia, let's go rock climbing.
She lives on the edge.
Yeah. And so a while later, I do the second climb. Anthony's belaying me. How'd
that feel?
Felt real good.
Okay.
That rope was tight. And
sure.
So, and
I'm not sure. Not what I heard.
Well, you better belay it. Believe it.
Felt better the first time.
I should have. Yeah. And so I'm up there doing the same thing. I'm nervous. As every other person who's climbing, there's 8 of us. Nothing is happening with their ropes. Me, the least experienced, the one who doesn't like climb all the time, always something. So I'm up there, and then I hear Anthony be like, "Oh, your rope is a little tangled," and so I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "It's fine. You just need to like let go and then like swing to the other side, and we're gonna like untangle you." Everyone else is kind of like whispering a little bit to each other and like, yeah, and I'm like, this is not making me feel safe at all. And then Anthony, like, he's like, look at me, and I like look down, and he's like, I got you. I wouldn't lie to you. You are fine. And he actually does make me feel secure, but the situation doesn't make me feel secure.
Sure.
I'm like gripping for my entire life, and he's like, you are fine. And sure enough, like, it ends up being fine. But
you're here today.
I'm here today.
Yeah.
And I'm
unfortunately.
but with a lot of scrapes, honestly. I do look like beaten and bruised. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's kind of hunky. Yeah. I like it.
And so I'm like, I think I might be good, but then they eventually convince me to do the third climb. I do this, but I'm like, there can't be another rope issue or any sort of issue. No one else is having these issues.
Fool me once, fool me twice.
I know. Fool me 3 times.
I don't know where this
kill
goes.
Myself. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So this, of course, is the tallest one, the scariest one.
Uh-huh.
My hands and feet and legs are so shaky and tired. I've already, there's no grip left. And then I'm kind of like, even though I trust Anthony, one of the guys is basically a certified professional of the group. Like, he's been doing it since he was 4. He knows the whole thing, which whenever he said 4, I was like, how are you rock climbing at 4? But whatever. Anyways, I go up. This guy is belaying me. I actually feel very secure because I'm like, he knows it. As I'm the highest I have ever been in my entire life on drugs. No,
Oh.
in the height wise.
Oh, sure.
All of a sudden I hear him go, "Oh no, the GriGri." Which, by the way, GriGri is like the machine that you feed the rope to, which I've learned, and it does sound like the gayest thing I've ever heard. GriGri. I was like, is it short for anything? No, it's just the GriGri.
I was thinking it kind of. I was like, did I approach?
Yeah,
the GriGri.
GriGri. Gaga GriGri.
Googoo Gaga GriGri.
GriGri. Yeah. Other title of that.
Sure.
And so he's like, oh no, it's the GriGri's upside down. So it's like the rope is going the wrong way or something.
That does sound like a plot of Stranger Things.
Yes, yeah.
The GriGri's upside down.
Meanwhile, and I'm the one I'm Barb here, who's about to be eaten.
And I'm Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
11ing. Attempting to.
Always 11ing.
Attempting to pull you off the mountain.
I would have happily accepted that in that moment.
Sure.
Then he's calling, I'm not kidding you, all other 6 people to like convene over the GriGri to see if it's fine. I'm freaking out. I'm like, guys, what's going on? Like, should I come down? Can I even come down? And they all look at me and they're like, trust me, we wouldn't lie to you. You're fine. We just have to figure out how to redo it. But like, nothing's gonna happen to you. At this point, I'm like, just get me down. I finally come down, and I'm like, I feel like I had a moment, and so I'm just like, I pull them all in. I like feeling very grateful to be alive, and I'm like, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for like telling me that you would never lie to me. Like I like really needed that while I was there. And then the first guy who was on my first climb goes, oh, by the way, actually when you were above the trees, I did lie to you. If you would have let go, you would have fallen 20 feet because I couldn't see you and the rope got stuck.
What? Learn to keep some things to yourself.
I was literally like, how dare you?
Well, I'm glad you survived. Again, I'm really liking the bruises and the cuts.
And you can't even see how many other bruises I have. Just like...
Oh,
wait. Actually, the other thing I was going to say... Oh, sorry. I'm going to make it back about myself.
Sure.
Shocker.
Certainly. I would expect nothing less.
After me being so mad about that man, he is like a professional... He's a director photographer and takes amazing photos. Oh, and so as I was
keep
like...
him on the good side.
So literally, as I was like about to wring his neck, he then took the most stunning photo of me of all time.
Oh.
And also while rock climbing as well. And so then I was sort of like, I'll go rock climbing with you again.
Yeah. And if he'd like to consult on Miss Thing, sort of, if you want to show him our framing and sort of how we do things over here, I'd love to get his thoughts.
It was truly shocking how much I was like, are you free next Saturday? Let's go rock climbing. Bring the camera.
Like, actually, I'll go up a 4th time.
Yeah.
Even though I almost
I'll go
died
off
all
free
3.
solo. No ropes. Just take the damn shot.
Us free soloing as our new cover for Miss Thing.
Yeah.
Claude.
Okay, Claude.
You're being replaced.
Yeah. Okay, Greg, how do you make Lady Gaga all about you?
So, Lady Gaga, as we know, sometimes she's a pop star. She's always pushing things forward, but occasionally she likes to go back in time. She likes to go back to the more standard. Yeah. She likes to get her jazz out. So I'm thinking back to the time when I did one of the biggest concerts of my life, which was my senior recital at NYU. Ooh. It's something I don't talk about very frequently because it's sort of like the last time I performed in earnest. It was sort of my farewell tour, my Chromatica, if you will, but like farewell. Yeah. And the program I went to, I was a vocalist. The program I went to, Still can be. I dabble from time to time. But in our senior recitals, it was sort of our way of, we put together an hour of material, and it was our way of sort of showcasing.
You're singing for a full hour?
Full hour.
Just you?
Yeah. And it's sort of like your big moment to showcase who you are as an artist now. So
all downhill after that, as we've seen.
well, just you wait. So we had to do, it was kind of like we were classically trained too. I mean, we did contemporary musical theater, but we were classically trained as well. So we had to do 4 different types of music to like showcase throughout the night.
Okay.
So we could do like contemporary music theater. There was like one, what are you laughing at?
4 different types. I don't know why. I just like immediately pictured you doing reggae. and getting like canceled.
So yeah, you could do contemporary musical theater, which is sort of like the new pop stuff, you know, the very Born This Way type stuff. Monster Truck Rally, just FYI, the reference.
That should be the anytime something sound is happening. Monster Truck Rally.
MTR.
Yeah.
Born This Way. That doesn't.
Well, the Fame Monster. Yeah.
Sure.
The Fame Monster Truck Rally.
So, in my 4 years of school, 2 things happened. I went from being a baritone with a low voice to being like a high tenor, which is sort of what they liked to do to the boys at the school. And also, it was good because all of the new contemporary roles for guys were like way up high. Like all the Ben Platt stuff, it's like you're singing in the stratosphere. So I was sort of training for that. And the other thing that happened was I developed crippling stage fright, which is not the most ideal thing for a performance major.
Performance.
Yeah. So for my classical section, I had 4 songs to choose from. I ultimately had to choose 3. The first 2 I chose, easy breezy. All I had to do was like learn the words. I could sing them in my sleep.
And it's Italian or no?
In Italian.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my third option, I could choose from another song that was well within my range, or this other one that was a little bit harder, more beautiful, and had one really high note.
Ooh, boy.
I was somehow convinced by my voice teacher
To do that.
to pick that one. And I'm like, well, this is my big moment. Let me show them what I can do.
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. Ally.
Yeah.
Ally. Spelled like ally.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know I'm nothing if not an ally.
We all are. We all are.
Your response, so it's the night of my recital. I'm, of course, nervous as hell leading up to it. And there is a huge crowd there. Not to brag, it's just there were a lot of people there. There was like basically my whole class. There was basically all my teachers. People had come from out of town. Well, it's like it's for everyone too. Everyone had like a crowd for their recital. Some people had flown in. People I had, been with in romantic ways came in. There were all sorts of people. There were people from all walks of life there. And I get started.
Was your classmate El Gaga?
My El Gaga, I think at that point either had dropped out. She was well on her way to sort of fame at that point. I think she was recording the Fame.
Okay.
The standard section was first. The cheek to cheeks. Turns out I'm actually like doing pretty well. Like I'm feeling good. Like everything is going well for me so far. And not only am I like not nervous, I'm feeling like energized. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling powerful. I'm feeling sexual, dare I say. We get to...
It's almost like you're wearing those optometrist glasses.
If only I was.
Yeah.
So then the Italian section was second, my classical section. First 2 songs go off without a hitch. We get to my third song. It's the hard one. I'm feeling confident, things are going well. I'm in good voice. I'm solid. And as we're getting to the end, we're getting to that final, like that big, big note. And the thought enters my head, I just got to get through that note and then I'm good. I'm good for the rest of the night.
I'm nervous.
Not in a like non-confident way. It just sort of popped in my head. And I was feeling confident. So we get to the note. We're getting there. We're building to it. I take my breath and I let it rip.
Oh, no.
And when I am telling you the sound that came out of my mouth, it sounded like a mixture between a donkey's scream and a tire's screech before it's about to be in the worst car accident you've ever seen.
What was the audience reaction?
Well, we'll get to that. In that moment, instead of doing what a normal person would have done and sort of stopped the note, sort of corrected it, I decided to let that note. I decided to hold it for as long as I was supposed to. With no chance of adjusting it, because what came out of my mouth was not my voice.
Yeah,
it was something that none of us had ever heard.
Demon had entered.
And I really wanted to make sure. I guess I wanted to make sure that note landed. Make sure everyone really sort of absorbed what was happening.
You were sort of doubling down, being like, "No, I meant to do this. It's a new thing. I'm trying."
After what felt like 5 minutes, and I finished that note.
No.
The silence, the stunned silence that befell that room was punctuated only by the sound of someone in the back going,
and that was me. That's how I was introduced to you.
My mother, her boyfriend at the time. To be said. My mother's boyfriend at the time was filming it, for posterity's sake. So I could
closed it, silently put it down.
When we were done, when it was over, I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to watch this. Can you send that to me?" She goes, "I don't know what happened. We lost the tape."
That's a good mom. That is a good mom right there.
Well, it was a digital camera. It sort of is stored right on the device. So I'm not sure how you could have lost the tape.
It doesn't matter. That is what you need to do in that moment.
But yeah, so that was that sort of moment. That was sort of the last I've really hit the stage in earnest like that.
You went out with a bang.
Totally.
Listen, I think it was a memorable thing that no one who was in that theater will ever forget.
Sure.
And so many other people's senior performances, they did it. It was fine. They hit the notes. No one remembers.
Yeah.
But people remember you. Whether or not your mom actively deleted it, that is seared into so many people's memories.
Yeah. Should we take a break?
Let's take a break.
Welcome back. Oh, we did it.
I know. I was like, chills.
Oh.
Okay, well, we're switching.
Bet you know you didn't know a riser in the dough.
Oh, that's Lord. That was a real journey for me. I thought it was maybe a Madonna song. As you know, I famously don't know anything but like the top 15 hits.
Yeah. No, the 5 of the playlist that I made you.
No, because your playlist, sorry to go on that, was like deep cuts. Like I know the like celebration, hits. I know Confessions on a Dance Floor, but I don't know like the number 8 track on Frozen.
Well, that's sort of the intention of the playlist,
exactly.
to get you to know the good songs. And speaking of Madonna, should we get into our Diva Down?
Yes.
Diva Down is, of course, our segment where we give unsolicited advice to something, a person, place, or thing in the culture right now who could really, really use the help of two, sassy gay guys.
Yeah.
With lots of opinions.
Men who know better.
we do, honestly. We're doctors, and we're providing the cure to society's ills.
And The Cure is one of my favorite Lady Gaga songs.
Knock us you with my love. I'm feeling very...
Oh my God. I have so many... I want to go into that story, but I won't. We are doing multiple episodes on Gaga.
Yeah. Next week. Catch us next week.
Well, okay. This is
our Diva Down this week is Madonna. And this is after...
Okay, so we were going to originally do another person, but you know what, listeners? We thought, let's live in the moment.
Change it on the fly.
Yeah.
Change it on the fly.
And recently, Patti LuPone was doing press for Agatha all along. She was doing Hot Ones with Aubrey Plaza, and she was asked if she regretted going on Watch What Happens Live and basically like coming for Madonna, saying that she has no, she's like a like movie killer for all of the movies that she's been in, and
that's
that she's
an
not
exact
good
quote.
and then she's not good as Evita.
Right, a part that Patti LuPone famously originated.
Yeah.
A very difficult role.
My advice, one, I just got to say, listen, I'm not about pitting women against other women.
Absolutely
but I do love, like, Patti LuPone's brassiness just tickles me to no end.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
To get right to it, my advice to Madonna is, like, I think in the sweetest way possible, that Patti probably does know what she's talking about in some things. And so sometimes you do have to hear an uncomfortable note. And so it's like the note of like, okay, which I think honestly she's already taken, which is like she's not really doing movies anymore. I'm kind of like, maybe Patti didn't need to phrase it in a certain way, but just make sure that the note sinks in, kind of. But also, I guess my advice on a more positive note is like, whatever, you just had like the biggest crowd of your life in Brazil. Focus on that.
Yeah, exactly. I think in the spirit of not pitting women against each other, I think it's important for Madonna to heed Patti's advice. You know, Patti tells it like it is. She says it really straight, and sometimes her delivery is harsh. I mean, remember, and I encourage Madonna to go watch this video when someone's cell phone went off during Gypsy, her big number, Rose's Turn, and Patti LuPone stopped the show and had an absolute fit at that person for ruining the event for everyone else. And then when I saw Gypsy a few weeks later, thank God for Patti, you know, having her breakdown like that. There were no cell phones allowed, and everyone was making sure to go around and make sure everyone's cell phone was off, which is the type of decorum we need in the theater, I think, for momentous performances like Patti's and Gypsy and Patti and anything. But I encourage Madonna to, you know, Madonna also tells it like it is. Like, there are two ladies who tell it like it is, and they've been through a lot. But I encourage her to listen and understand that they are both there's space for both of them on the stage. Yeah. On the stage.
I was going to say, as you were speaking, I just like was overcome with very much like, I feel like I'm Madonna in this situation and you're Patti.
You think?
Well, just kind of like you're the one who's giving like unsolicited, like harsh advice.
Yes.
You know? But advice that I probably need to hear.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
And that you'll like, just as much as we love Patti, like you'll never be as big as me.
And I'll be angry about that. And I also can handle the heat of a chicken wing.
Yes, you can. Honestly. Where I really can't.
It's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, what a roller coaster of an ep.
On that note, the Monster Truck Rally, physically, emotionally, sonically, what an episode, my God.
And Inertias, please don't forget to like subscribe, put up a story, leave a comment on Spotify or Apple.
Tell your friends that Cynthia Erivo, Elphaba herself, is a huge fan of the pod. And spread the word.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah. Bye, Cynthia.
Bye, Cynthia.
Until next time.
Cannot wait for Wicked. Until next time.
Bye.
Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media.
BONK.